Hello, welcome everybody. You are all going to be judges for my HCPS Game Jam event. I appreciate every one of you. So I chose you all because you all have the ability to work with Fusion and you have some experience, in the game design process. So I can trust you all on this one. We only have 4 teams that have submitted a game on for Fusion. This was apparently a harder engine to use and to get it working properly with itch.io. So, with that being said, with these games, we were supposed to have provided a link to the game. So if you see, if I open up a folder, any folder, you're gonna see an MFA file, a link to the game, and the note. This one's called a notebook. This one over here is the written documentation. This is what's going to be in their file. So you're going to receive 2 folders, and you're going to grade the games with that. So first thing I would do actually before I go further is I would print this out. I would print out 2 copies of this document over here on the left. Print 2 copies, and then write the name of the game. So this would be like Food Apoc, right? Like Food Apocalypse. I would write that up there, and then I would judge that game first. Now, you are going to want to go to Click Team Fusion's website and download Click Team Fusion for 2, maybe 3 games if you do not have it on your computer. So Click Team Fusion 2.5, and then you're going to want to get the free version and then click download the PC version unless you have a Mac, right? And then please go ahead and set that up. There were quite a bit of problems with itch.io working properly with the free version of Fusion 2.5. So we're going to have to be a little lenient and remember that for next year that any game submitted for Fusion should just be submitted as a file and not linked to itch.io if possible. And you're going to see that, okay, yeah, so let's go through it. So first thing is you're going to want to look at is the rubric has 3 major components: a game layout rubric, it has a game design, and a game flow. So this one's about documentation, this one's about the actual, I would say, structure of the game, and this one is about the flow or feel of the game. So there's 3 different things you're grading them on. The first one will be the game layout charts and storyboards. So if we look at a game layout chart, let's do Metroid as a simple one. This is probably the most bare basic that I would accept, something along the lines of this, where it has the levels laid out. It has like a legend of what should be doing what the enemies should be doing, like arrows. It should be a basic layout of the game. That should be there. Next up should be some type of storyboards. And that's going to be there. That's 10 points. After that is, do they effectively convey the game's themes, mechanics, and visual style? Well, how do you know that? Well, the name of the game this year is duality. Something needs to be about duality in their game. Good versus evil, light versus dark, heavy versus light. You get the idea, right? I was thinking like hungry versus full, but that was stupid. But we're on Food Apocalypse, so I was trying to come up with something for Food Apocalypse, right? So let's go to the written documentation first. So I would definitely recommend that you open up the documentation first. Don't worry about the structure of this in terms of how does it look. I'm going to grade that. You need to look at what's inside of it. And what's inside of it you should see is the game overview, followed by, we should see things like target market in here. And we'll zoom out a little bit. And game mechanics and features. So that's right here, games, mechanics, features. We have the table of contents. And then in here it should have like, there's a target market, like what their idea of the game is. Shoot the evil hamburgers. You're the chef, need to defeat evil hamburgers, earn the most points. It's intended for people because of this reason. This is the primary, what it's about, so on and so forth, right? Why we want it to. So you're going to have to read like the first like couple sections in order to figure out themes and duality, because from there it's all about development process and design process. And this is where you have to, well, get intimate with your game, right? Understand they didn't go, like, this team definitely is all over the place. Yeah. Because it looks like they're repeating themselves. Once again, as long as they have the information, you're just going to read it. I'm the one that's going to do the formatting and the grading of the actual document itself. But definitely go over it because look, they've gone crazier. Here's your target audience and market. And here's the purpose of the game and the core mechanics. And this is what we really wanted to see right here. This was their idea of what they wanted to build. So you have to read that. And then you have to go down and kind of look for storyboarding and game layout charts. So I see a sprite here. I see sprites. I see more sprites. So these are probably sprites that they've made. Looks like here's some kind of menu screen. Here's their assets. I don't really see a storyboard. I don't really see a game layout chart anywhere. So I would have to ding this team, and I'd have to give them a 0 out of 10 on this. Does it effectively convey the game's themes and visual style? No, because they had nothing. So this team gets nothing. You have to have storyboards and a game layout charts. The single most important part of designing a game is planning it out first. And that's always going to be true. Next up is the game itself. So when you play the game, yes, you know what? I know Beyond Realms does work. So I can copy theirs, paste it, and then I can play it. And it should open up in a browser, right? You might want to expand it. Here we go. So let's open this up. Let's put it to the side so we can see it. We'll minimize the screen. Oh, we don't want to do that because it minimizes it. There we go. Pull up the rubric and let's make this one a little smaller. There we go. There we go. So with this one, you're going to grade it on 3 things. A welcome screen. Oh, goodness. A welcome screen, a tutorial, a playable level. First, just get that in your brain. Does it have a welcome screen? Looks like it has a welcome screen. It looks like here's the tutorial. And then a playable level. So I'm going to guess that when I click play, it plays the game. Oh, choose your fighter, samurai, I don't know. And then the game should play. Now, this is one of the things that we were running into is that the itch.io does not function properly with the game. So this is where you're going to have to use the .mfa file to play the game. And I can walk you through that. So let's go through Food Apocalypse. Let's open it up. It opened up on my other screen. Here it is. Now, the cool thing about Fusion is it was used to make Five Nights at Freddy's. All you have to do is up here is run the application. And then it will pop up. And the game should tell you how to play. F's to start. And then this looks like my tutorial level. And I'm playing the game. Cool. And the game should end on its own. Boom. Now when you want to play the game again, up here, run application or press F8 and you can play the game. So I would highly recommend playing the game on the Fusion game because on Fusion because it's just way easier. So, did it have a welcome screen? Yes. Okay. Did it have a welcome screen? Yes. So, check. Was it aesthetically appealing? I'd say yes. Did it provide a clear path forward? Yes. Now we're looking at tutorial. Does it blend it into it? Well, I would say neither one of them really blended it into it. Player interaction. Does it have you do? Not really. Just had you read words. Does it teach? Right. So this is where you go through the rubric and you really hammer down what the rubric is asking you. This right here, the integration of theme, we found from the written documentation. We read it. We got the description. We got their idea. They wanted food and burgers and apocalypse feel. And okay, I definitely got that from the game, right? After that is technical execution. They should tell you in the written documentation that we wanted to create a 2D fighting games with moves and health bars and jumping and attacking. Was it functional? Yes. Are there going to be bugs? Of course. These aren't AAA studios. These are 2 to 4 kids working on a game for less than 2 months, maybe 3, right? If they really started early. So give them a little credit here. Be nice. Okay, be very nice. Does it work? Yes. Does it work as expected? Yes. Are there minimal bugs? Right. Cool. So you played it, you got through it, you graded it. Perfect. You're going to want to total score this up, and that's going to total out to 25 points. So all of this should equal the 25 points, right? Easy enough. Now we're over to game flow. This is about how the game feels to you. This is how you evaluate a game in general. When a good game should make you feel like you're concentrating, no matter what game it is: solitaire, Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, poker, Monopoly, Words with Friends, rock paper scissors, right? Whatever it is you come up with, they should have the following things that you could grade it on. I should feel like um, I'm not burdened with irrelevant tasks. It grabs my attention. I'm not distracted from various things. Right, just go line by line after you've played it enough times. This one's about player skill, right? This one right here is about my control over the game. Do I know what the goal of the game is? Is there enough feedback that lets me know that I'm progressing towards that goal? And that looks different from every game. If I'm fishing, maybe there's like a counter that goes up and I have to reach the counter. If I'm playing solitaire, the deck is getting smaller. If I'm playing Minesweeper, the land is getting more embedded with, stars and check marks and stuff like that. And there's a visual indicator of how many spots are unturned. And here's a last example is, like NFL Madden, there's a scoreboard, there's a leaderboard present, and you know what the goal is with the timer. Like, all these things are present. It's so hard to go over different games. There's so many different games out there, right? Like, how do you know you're progressing towards your goal in a racing game? Like, how do you know? What does it tell you? Is there a mini map that shows you where you are? Is there a lap counter? Is there a placement where you are currently? Now we're talking Mario Kart too, right? So there should be something there that lets you know you're progressing. And then this one is basically, do you lose yourself in the game when playing it? Just grade it to the best of your ability, put it in here, and then after you're done with your 2 games, send this back to me. You can send it back to me as pictures and a text. I'll leave my phone on the screen. It'll be in the email that you receive. Or you can email it back to me as well, however you want to do it, but text or email. That way I can compile the scores and then have them ready for the day of presentation, which is Wednesday the 26th. And this is a 12-minute video. I appreciate your time. I really do. I hope this is good enough for you as like an introduction to the rubric. If you have any questions, just call me. Call me up and say, hey, play this game with me. I've got these games. I've got them on a USB. Even though I'm traveling, I have a laptop. I can pull it up. I can walk you through it. I can tell you my thoughts, and we can go from there. No harm, no foul. Let's get to it. Let's have some fun. Let's make these kids feel good about themselves. Designing games ain't easy. So, with that being said, take care.